Hello once again, fellow arcade gamers and YouTubers. This is Keith with KeithsArcade.com. I got a good one for you today. Wanted to show you one of the latest games that I recently picked up just a week or two ago, actually. And I won't even keep you in suspense, so let's turn this thing on and show you what game it is. That was my other games in the background, ignore them. It will take a minute to boot up, the monitor to warm up anyway. Well, actually, I just recently had it on, so it didn't take that long. There it is. Pong. Now, you're probably asking, okay, is this the Atari Pong from 1972, or is this one of the 5 million Pong clones out there? Well, let me turn the light on and zoom out, and I'll show you. Yeah, it's a clone. But this is a good clone, and let me explain why. What you're looking at is a 1972 computer space ball. And if the name sounds familiar and the cabinet design looks familiar, well, the brand should be your third clue. Nutting and Associates. Yeah, this is the same company that released Computer Space a year earlier, and of course, you know, for you history buffs out there, Computer Space was considered to be the first coin-operated video game. Not the first coin-operated arcade, mind you, but just the first coin-operated video game, which actually turned out to be a flop, and it was Nolan Bushnell's first game, believe it or not, first video game from what I understand. And then, of course, Pong was released a year later and was a huge hit. Was considered Nolan Bushnell's really successful breakout video game. But by that time, he had formed his own company. He originally had a company called Syzygy, which, if you look at a computer space, you'll see it's Syzygy powered. And the 1972 Atari Pong just had the Atari brand on it. Well, this one is debatable whether even if it's even a clone or if it was actually licensed to Nutting. From what I understand, this one was released immediately after Atari's Pong, and when the Atari guys and Bushnell and everybody was leaving Nutting, that's around the same time when this came out, so it's kind of a gray area. So I'm kind of looking for answers if anybody happens to know. Is this a clone, or was this actually licensed to Nutting from Atari? Not really sure. But the cabinet is really awesome. This is actually one of two style Spaceball cabinets. There's another one that I've heard about that's actually a wood cabinet with a green front. This one is brown with that speckled paint fiberglass cabinet, and this thing is light. I mean, it weighs about as much as a Rubbermaid trash can with a TV inside. I'm not kidding, guys. And, you know, it's just like Computer Space. Like I said, it's that fiberglass cabinet with that glitter paint. You've also got the Nutting and Associates sticker on the bottom there. Care to know what I paid, guys? $100 on Craigslist. This thing was listed, and I was the lucky first responder. I'm sure the guy got a ton of calls on it. Normally, Pong clones don't fetch that much, but this one I felt was an exceptional deal. I just had to grab it. Now, looking at the cabinet, like I said, it's feather light. With the exception of the potentiometers that the seller did tell me he replaced, which is actually a good thing considering how flaky these get over time. And I'm missing a coin mech and coin bucket. This is all original. The TV set's in there still, and I'll show you that in a minute. It's really cool. From what I understand, the same TV set that's actually in the Computer Space games from a year prior. With all the tubes inside of it. You gotta see it when I open the back of this cabinet. But just a beautiful, beautiful machine. There is one scratch on it. I don't know if it's going to deter from value or not. Right there. And a flaw there, which I am thinking might actually be a flaw from the factory. Since this is kind of a fiberglass molded cabinet, maybe that's just an imperfection in the mold. Maybe it's damaged. I don't know. It's got this really cool marquee on the front. Only thing that's kind of a downer, this isn't backlit, as you can see. No, the bulbs are not burned out. This is actually solid fiberglass directly underneath this. And this is glued onto the cabinet. And I thought about when I first bought this game that, maybe I'll cut into the fiberglass and backlight it. But, I didn't want to take a chance on ruining the marquee since it's glued on there. And I just decided to keep it as original as possible. Since this is really a true survivor, guys, I just couldn't believe it when I saw this game. It's just absolutely beautiful. Monitor's got a little bit of burn, kind of to be expected. But it's actually not that bad. The paddle ball I had a couple years ago had far worse burn than that. And it was working as well. This game, I really didn't have to do anything to except patch up the power supply, and I'll get to that in a minute. So let's look at another side of this game. There's where your coin, obviously your coin insert would be here, and your reject return would be right there. And it looks like somebody added a credit button. Like I said, it is missing the mech. I didn't get the story from the seller on what happened to it or even how long he owned it or anything like that. Don't know too much about the history of this one. I didn't ask too many questions. It was just kind of, hop in the truck, get it, and go. So that's what I did. Here's the back of the cabinet. You can see just like Computer Space. It's a wooden back with kind of this rounded, beveled wood door on it. I did leave the key on it. Usually when I get a game, I'll just usually screw the back door on. But this piece obviously is an exception. I didn't want to, drill any more holes or anything like that into it. So I just left the key on there. And you can see where it's molded into the wood here. Pretty cool. There's the serial tag. You can see Nutting and Associates. 727C. I believe the wood one is 727B. Serial number 18691. I kind of doubt that they made that many of these games. But like I said, somebody more knowledgeable, certainly please chime in. I'd love to know the history of this game. I'd love to know if it was actually licensed or if it is just a clone. I'd also like to know value on that. Ignore the dogs. It sounds like my daughter just got home. Let's open it up. Right away. Look at that. Look at all those tubes glowing in there. I'll shine the light on there. Yeah, this is an actual 15-inch black and white TV set. I did not remove it from the game, so I can't verify this, but I was told by the seller that this is the same GE TV set that was used in Computer Space. I know John from John's Arcade recently did a Computer Space restore. Hey John, if you're watching this, I'm proud of you, buddy. That was a great video restore series. I really enjoyed watching it. Really glad you got a Computer Space. And really glad you decided to share it with everybody. So I'll have to look back at John's videos and kind of compare and see. Might even ask him where he got tubes from. Because I kind of want to stock up on tubes myself just in case any of these go out to have spares for backups. Get them while I guess you can find them. I mean, these tubes are like, what, 40 years old at this point? 40 plus? They can't be too many of them lying around anymore, I would imagine. And of course, I'm just guessing that this is, the tuner's been bypassed, and where the antenna would normally plug in, they've got it modified to run the signal wires to the game board. I'll put a picture up of the game board here. I'm not going to pull it out of the game, but there's where it's located. And here I'll add a snippet of the picture of the board real quick. Here's the original power supply, still working, still getting clean voltage. I did notice a couple days after I got this home that one of these little orange caps had popped loose. So I took this apart and cleaned up all the solder joints on it, put it back together, and man, that was a pain in the ass. The main problem I had was there's this transistor on the other side of the metal case here. And rather than having that soldered on to this side of the board, it's by the factory, it's soldered on to the side that's facing the metal plate. And so I couldn't understand, well, how do you even do that? You know, how do you solder it and have it mounted to the plate at the same time? It's just impossible. So I kind of had to get creative, and when I pulled it out, I kind of just had to make some jumpers and add them in so that I can successfully work on this thing and get all the solder joints patched up, running a good, smooth, solid 5 volts. Even the plug on this thing, I believe, is original. We'll go ahead and pull it out real quick. It's hooked up to my extension cord right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the original plug, still with the ground pin attached. And the plug, cord, and everything's in good shape. I see no need to replace this, guys. Do you? Looking inside the cabinet, again, you got this fiberglass with the wood molded to it for the monitor to mount to. There's where the coin mech would have been, and possibly a paint can for a coin box, just like Computer Space. I don't know. Maybe somebody else out there in the world has one of these. From what I understand, these are pretty rare. So that's another question I have, guys. I paid $100 for this thing. Did I get a good deal? What's this thing worth? I'd like to know for insurance reasons. Getting all kinds of opinions out there. Most of them agree that $100 was a steal on this thing. This, I believe, was the seller's creation, just an envelope with a few photocopied schematics on there. Actually from Atari Pong, not even from Computer Spaceball. But I'm guessing it's the same kind of board design. Obviously, Pong doesn't use any processors or software. It's all TTL logic. So anyway, let's close this up. Well, I guess I should plug it back in. Hang on, fellas. And I'm not going to get too involved in the gameplay because, well, it's Pong. And I'm by myself here anyways. So yeah, you can see it took the monitor a little longer to warm up that time. Another thing about this monitor that I noticed, and I don't know if it's because of, aged components or just, I don't know if this is how tube monitors are. It seems to take a while to warm up compared to other machines. And also the image is smaller when it starts up. I can increase the image if I wanted to, but it gradually, after over a span of about 5 minutes, it gradually expands to where the image is actually bigger and actually fills the screen. So anyway, you can see, and I can't, I'm looking through a viewfinder, guys, so I really can't see what I'm doing here. But you can see the movement of the paddles is all good. Like I said, the seller did replace the potentiometers in this. And it looks, sounds, and plays and scores just like Atari's Pong, and just like a lot of the Pong clones out there were the same way. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this kind of long preview video of my recently acquired 1972 Nutting and Associates Computer Spaceball Pong clone. What do you guys think? Pretty cool, huh? Well, until next time, this is KeithWithKeithsArcade.com signing off. Take care, guys. Talk to you later.